Hey, what's up everybody? Donnie Rains here with the Rains Real Estate Team, and today's topic is going to be all about myth busting and talking about a few of the items I've always heard from people that I would consider myths and just want to get realistic on those today, because the reality is people tend to overcomplicate things to justify their inaction. So it's very important to pay attention to the things that you say, because they really do have an outcome on your life if you're not getting things done. So let's go over the list I have here. We got 5 items, and then we're going to be moving on to a list of tips to get shit done. So the number one thing I have on my list is I'm not a morning person. And I mean, we've all heard that one a ton of times before, but the reality is nobody's a morning person, right? So you're just going to have to understand that you got to deal with it. All the successful people in the world, they have a good morning routine and wake up early. They don't just get out of bed and spring out of bed and just get after it, right? They wake up groggy like everybody else, but they're so determined on what needs to be done that they don't let anything hold them back. So disciplined people are able to get up early, right? It has nothing to do with not being a morning person. So don't let that one hold you back if it's been holding you back, at this point. The second one I have on my list is I'm not motivated enough. And again, we've already talked about this. Motivation is a feeling. It comes and it goes. You can be more motivated if you're doing things that make you happy, but it's just not necessary to being successful. So you got to be self-disciplined if you're going to get anything done. So if you're saying that you're not motivated, just be aware that it doesn't matter, right? If the discipline is what matters, right? So be disciplined, go get things done. Motivation, doesn't really matter. The next one is I don't have time. And the reality is it's your lack of time management that's the real issue. So I heard a couple of studies that really stuck with me a couple years ago, and I wanted to share those with you guys. And one of them is they did a study that showed that the average person watches about 4.7 hours of TV per day, which is, if you break it down, that's about 2 months per year. They did another study that came out that shows that people on average are spending about 5 hours on the internet, and that's on top of the TV time. And I actually agree with that study, and that's that you're looking at about 9 hours a day of just wasted time when you could be getting things done. So again, it's not a matter of not having time; it's a matter of time management, and that is going to be the big issue. So the next one is, and this one is kind of in any sales industry, whether it's real estate or anything where you're generating leads. But I always hear these leads suck, and really, it's never the leads. It's never the leads. It really isn't, because people in other markets are getting these same leads, and they're going out there and they're kicking butt with it, and they're having a lot of success. So ultimately, it's not the leads; it's the negative mindset and the skill sets behind the person who's working those leads. So if you're struggling with converting leads and you're constantly saying that the leads suck or have that kind of mindset, take a step back and realize, hey, it's probably my skill sets and my inability to convert these leads that's the real issue, and start working on getting better and start working on mastery. But again, saying these leads suck will make those leads suck. And so, anything that comes out of your mouth, you can bring to reality. So you got to watch what you say. So if you want to have better luck with leads, start saying these leads are awesome and I'm great at closing leads, or whatever that may be, but stop saying it in a negative way. The next one's going to be, and this one I hear a ton, unfortunately, but it's I already know that. And the reality is you don't know that. You got to be open to continuous learning. NASA did a study and that showed that anytime you learn something the first time through, you retain about 10%. And that makes sense. Maybe you get a little bit more each time if you're taking notes with it, but if you read a book, watch a movie, or go to a lecture, or whatever that is, you're probably going to walk away with about 10%, probably not any more than that. So you'll notice anytime you've read a book or you've watched a movie for the second, third, or fourth time, you're always picking up new things from it. And that's no different than what I'm saying. So you don't know everything. You're always learning, and you just got to be aware of that. I actually had a coach tell me one time, he said, Donnie, we never arrive. We never get there. And I thought about that, and it's super important to know. It's always about learning. It's continuous learning. You're never going to know it all. You're never going to get there. And so if you have that kind of mindset, it's going to hold you back in life. So if you do, shut it down, and be aware that you got to keep learning, because nobody knows it all and nobody ever will. And it's just like a runner's wall. It's just you're going to keep hitting that wall if you continuously think that you know it all. And so that there's always more myths out there, I'm sure, but that's my top 5 myths that I wanted to bring up to you guys and talk about. And so we'll move on to the next one. And these are my tips to get shit done, right? My tips to G.S.D. And the first one's going to be is you got to have a morning routine. And morning routines are very, very powerful, right? They're going to start the day. They're going to start your energy. They're going to start your mindset right. It's super powerful. And all successful people do this. It's something I had to learn. I've always woke up early in my life, but I didn't do it with a good system behind it and with a good purpose behind it. And when I started doing that, it really did have a big impact on my life. So figure out a good morning routine, wake up early, be disciplined, and do the things in the morning that are going to hypercharge your day. So that way when you do step out of your home and you're getting ready to go to your place of business or whatever that is, you're at your full potential and you're going to get a ton more done and you're going to feel a lot better when you do it. The next one is make a to-do list. Time block and stick to your schedule. It's very hard to try to multitask and do many things at one time, right? People that multitask generally are never good at like one thing. So make a list and do one thing at a time and get through it and time block it. And your life's going to be a ton better. I know for me, if I have a lot of items that need to be done, my brain goes into chaos mode. And then what happens is I tend to get less done because I don't have a system of what to do. I just know that tons of things need to be done. And so when I can break it down onto a list and I can look at it item 1, item 2, and always break it down in order of importance, that's going to make it easier. But one at a time. And whenever you start focusing on one item at a time, you're going to do your best work at it and you're going to be able to knock it out in a more efficient time and then be able to move on to the second one. And you're going to feel a lot better doing it. So better efficiency, it's going to feel better, and you're going to get a lot more done. So make a to-do list. The next one is affirmations. And I'm a big believer in affirmations, right? Affirmations, they help us change our belief about ourselves, right? So we're constantly using affirmations and saying things because we're changing our belief about who we are. And we're also using them to bring about an outcome that we want, right? So affirmations are very powerful. I have morning affirmations that when I wake up, it's part of my morning routine, and they have a lot to do with like my personal life and a little bit of business, but it's more personal life. And then when we come into the office, we have business work affirmations, and then there's personal affirmations I do throughout the day. But it's important to constantly be reaffirming what it is that you want in life. It's very important, and I don't care what it is, but you got to be. You got to be willing to say it. If you want, let's use work as an example. If you want to get 5 deals a month, your goal is to get 60 closings a year, 5 closings a month, and you're not telling yourself constantly that you're going to hit that 5 closings a month, and you're going to find you're probably never going to get there. But if you start saying, I'm going to get those 5 closings a month, and then you're doing the work behind it, which is the important part, you're doing the work behind it to get those 5 transactions, you're going to find that you're either going to get there or you're going to find out that you're very, very close when you're doing that. So affirmations, super important. Find out the ones that have meaning to you because they have to have meaning and value in order for it to work. The next one is work on mastery. The better you are at something, the more efficient that you are, the more that you can get done. For me, like when I started jiu-jitsu early on in my career, right, I had never done that before. And so it's all these incremental movements of your whole body. And it took a lot of time and a lot of frustration to get good, but I kept working on it. I kept working on my skill sets, and I got what we call it mastery. And it got to the point where it was easy. I was doing all of the submission holds and the movements. It all became very, very easy because I spent the time, worked on mastery, and it became much, much easier. So if you want to get better at something, your phone calls, if you're prospecting 3 hours a day or however many hours a day, but you're not getting the results you want, you need to be working on your scripting. You need to be working on whatever it is that you need to work on to get your skill sets up. Because the better you are at anything, the more better results you're going to get. We already talked about this one, but this one is huge. If you want to get things done, be accountable. Just let yourself be accountable to the things that you need to get done. That's very important. If you're a business person, hire a coach or get somebody. Just partner up with somebody that has your goals, that you tell this person your goals, and they're going to hold you accountable to when you don't do them. And there's something about accountability that makes people want to work harder because people don't like to not get things done. They don't like to not follow through with things when they have to report to somebody else. And so it does have a big impact by being accountable. So if you don't have an accountability partner, get one. It will change your life. This is another big one, celebrate small wins. In our industry especially, right, it's a big grind. It's very stressful. There's a lot going on. And you can get overwhelmed with the stress side of it and the anxiety side of it more than the wins that you're having along the way. So anytime you have a good phone call or just any small win that may be, celebrate it. Take a minute, say, okay, I'm super proud of myself that this happened. and just celebrate it, whatever it is. But if you miss out on all the little wins, it makes it hard to really enjoy the big ones. So pay attention. This one's big. When you feel like saying no, you must say yes. Right? This is all about being disciplined, right? Anytime you get that gut feeling when you're supposed to go do something and you feel like, I'm just going to say no and I'm going to get to it later, you just have to say yes. Because anytime you say no and you put it off, well, it still needs to be done. You're just putting it off. And what you're doing is you're just making a pile of things that never get done. And so if you just learn to say yes and be disciplined when things need to be done, you're going to, for one, you're not going to have that backlog of things that have to get done. So the stress and anxiety aren't going to be there. But there's that gratification of just getting things done. If you do the things that are hard, even when you don't want to do them, there's an overwhelming feeling of, it's a very positive, gratifying feeling that you get from it. And so just do it and get it done. And again, through doing the things that matter, that's where all the results are and the benefits that you're trying to get out of life. So say yes when you feel like saying no. Very simple. The other one is surround yourself with people that make you feel better. That's a big one. You know, when I started my business, I had to reevaluate my life and the people that were in it and decide who I wanted to hang out with kind of moving forward at that point. Not that anybody was bad people or anything like that, but everybody's in a different place in life. They talk different. And if it does have an effect on you, you have to be self-aware and be able to say, okay, I still really care about this person, but they make me feel a certain way. And when they make me feel a certain way, I feel like I can't get anything done. And so you just, I'm not saying cut them out of your life. Just limit your time with them. If you've heard the analogy of crabs in a bucket, this is what I'm talking about. So if you take a bucket, an open bucket, and you put a bunch of crabs in it, they'll never get out. They'll never escape. Because anytime one of the crabs is about to crawl over and get to his freedom and get out, the bottom crabs are always grabbing at the legs and pulling them down. They're always just pulling at them down. They're trying to keep them down. And so you don't want to hang out with crabs. So if you feel like you have those kind of people in your life, again, don't get rid of them, just limit your time with them and start hanging around people that are positive, goal-oriented, and the kind of people that when you say, hey, I want to go do this is my goals, they say, yeah, dude, I can see you doing that. I 100% believe in you. So get rid of the crabs, start hanging around positive people that believe in you, huge impact on your life. And you'll get a ton more done because you're going to feel way better. And then the last one I got is just, there's so much to do when you're taking on this kind of a task, and it's important to understand that it's one step at a time. And you're going to get there as long as you understand that. As long as I take one step at a time, small bites at a time, you're going to get to where you need to be. Nobody starts a business and then the next month they're super rich, super millionaires. It doesn't work that way. People got to go through the grind. They got to go through it, and they go step by step. And so what I'm saying to you is, if you go one step at a time. Take these tools and the skills that we've been talking to you guys about and use them to change your life. And the reason that we're talking about them right now at this time is because we're coming on to the end of the year, and I want everybody to start the new year on fire, ready to go. And that's my goal. So hopefully you guys got some good information out of this. And that's it. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks.